Hi guys, this is the case study for Jack Abramoff's In It to Win It story, and this is a really dense case with a lot of information, so let's get into it. So even though Jack had a slew of illegal activities that he was involved in, he also had some moral problems that he encountered in his lobbying work, regardless if these were legal or illegal. These included him abusing the system, conflicts of interest related to the clients that he was serving, specifically with his Indian Native American clients, regarding the gambling situations on different territories, extravagant favors and gifts of persuasion that he used to his benefit for clients and special favors, not disclosing necessary information to personally benefit. This was specifically seen when he had conflicts of interest. He was working for both companies that were supporting a specific client. He didn't disclose that to them. He was getting funds paid to him directly and through the company he worked for that they also hired. And not being transparent with his clients. This goes hand in hand with all the examples I just listed. Funding political campaigns. We've read all about this in our code of ethics, creating our own code of ethics assignment as well, and why this is a problem. So the lines may be legal for some of these things, but they are undoubtedly corrupt and unethical, specifically determining the types of bribes that you're providing. He accepted favors for his clients and his lobbying team from Congress members. This was due to his persuasive techniques and bribery. He had an intense need to please the client and finding means to do so that pushed the limits for sure of what was ethical and unethical. As far as ethical issues that I may find myself struggling with, similar to what he encountered, I can see myself struggling with being honest, even if it means losing clients and money. I think your initial reaction is to find an alternative route, just kind of stall until you figure out what to do so you don't have to break the news to them. This would be fighting the need to please and assuming that they wouldn't find out, kind of that no harm, no foul mindset, and knowing that even if they don't find out, you doing it is still unethical. I could also see myself maybe struggling, trying not to get caught up in the money or what you could do. So remembering the purpose of the job and the service you're providing and not just trying to excel and make the most money as you possibly can in your position. Framing is, in my words, how you choose to focus your viewpoint on situations which influences your decision-making and your ethical judgments. So we can frame things to benefit our own perspectives, our own beliefs, which this can lead to us being blinded from proper moral decision-making. Now some framing examples from Jack's situation, directly from the story. We can see he framed his situation so that ethical matters were not in the picture at all. Jack's perceptions of himself and his behavior was framed so that he saw himself as an ethical person. He was picking clients whose causes he believed in, and he was working hard to win on behalf of his clients, despite the means that he used to win. By doing all this, he was compartmentalizing his sets of values for his personal life, religious life, and work life. So he wasn't making connections to his behaviors as being unethical. He actually felt good about what he was doing and did this by excusing his bad behavior with his good deeds. He even mentions in the video that he thought how he convinced himself that he was right was actually worse than doing exactly what he did and knowing it was wrong, but doing it anyway. So he even admits that framing was actually a worse way to commit the crimes that he did and to make the decisions that he made than if he had known he was wrong and just done it anyway. He thought he was great and moral because his clients were paying him money and he wanted to give them what they paid for. These elaborate schemes of rationalizing his behaviors ended up blinding him from seeing the things that he was doing were wrong, and he made excuses for not being able to live up to his own ethical standards. That's all part of framing. He was too loyal to his clients, who were up against other very powerful people. So how he viewed the powerful and the elite of Washington, which he mentioned in the video, he viewed them as bullies. He was assuming that their lifestyle was an excuse for him winning these victories on important issues because he was saving clients money. So he really believed that he did these things for the right reasons. As far as practical steps that I could take to reduce the effects of framing in my life, you can recognize toxicity in our lives and have the moral imagination to be able to frame our lives in ways that we can be proud of and have ethically successful lives because of it. The focus that we choose leaves a lot of factors out. So adopting other frames to see what exactly we're leaving out and how they will affect our decisions can combat framing. Framing, we are blind to our own frames that we impose upon ourselves. So keep ethical considerations in our frame of reference when making decisions to combat that. And acknowledging that people tend to view themselves as more ethical than others, so they don't typically worry about making unethical decisions, or they tend to even ignore situational factors. So being aware of this, not assuming that you're ethically, just acting ethically just because you think you're an ethical person. As far as the responsibility of the individual to act ethically in a corrupt system, I think individuals have the most responsibility to act ethically, especially in corrupt systems, because this is when it's most vital and most important to act ethically. A corrupt system may make it more difficult to act ethically, but it is no excuse for unethical behavior. This can be kind of seen with groupthink, instead of just going along with what everybody else in the group is doing because you think that's how you're going to make it. Don't fall victim to groupthink. As far as how you would actually act ethical in this situation, this situation really shows how good people can make decisions that are bad for themselves and an organization. The system, being corrupt, can make you think that you have power, and it breeds an arrogance in the industry to encourage that the ends justify the means. So everything becomes about winning in that world. You could act ethically by defining the ethical issues at hand, asking yourself questions about the situations before making decisions, applying these justification models that we've been talking about, discuss the issues with others, get other points of view, get other opinions. Then adhere to a code of ethics. Be honest and transparent with your clients. Don't do things you know would compromise situations just to be more successful. I would define moral imagination as making decisions by considering the full range of possibilities to create both an ethical and successful outcome to an ethically challenging situation. So this just kind of goes hand in hand with getting creative to solve problems by evaluating the circumstances and then utilizing what is considered morally possible. You can have a good character and you could be a considerably good person by definition, but you could still act unethically. This concept would have helped Jack realize alternative routes to getting the results that he wanted in an ethical way. And for me personally, this concept could help me solve problems without feeling stuck in a situation, thinking that I only have a narrow set of possibilities. So I won't be pressured to act unethically just to solve an issue. It would help me think outside of the box, allow myself to consider all options to come to an ethical and successful solution when possible. And it'll help me be in control of my own behavior and choices in professional and personal life instead of feeling forced into a corner by those in authoritative positions.